Welcome to NS500, Introduction to Gospels and Acts. My name's Tommy Givens, and I'm going to be your professor for this course. A little bit of background on me so that you know what you've gotten yourself into. I've been at Fuller for a little over a year now, teaching in New Testament as well as in theological ethics. I also teach some classes in Spanish here at Fuller in the Latino Center. And if you want to get a little more of a backstory on me, there is an article you might read in the Semi. It was in the November issue. I think the issue was called World or something like that. So check that out on the internet if you want to learn a little bit more of my background. I was a missionary for a number of years in Spain. I wasn't a very good missionary, and that was partly what generated my interest in theology, in biblical studies, and what led me eventually here to Fuller. A few highlights of the course that I want to point out at this point. First of all, our course is going to work very hard at teaching you how to read the Gospels and Acts as narratives. That's something that for those of us formed in the evangelical tradition, we typically have not done very well. We tend to want to boil the stories about Jesus or the early church down to some timeless idea or doctrine or something like that, rather than taking them seriously as stories. And so a big part of this class is going to be teaching you how to read the Gospels and Acts as stories. Another feature to highlight is the importance, to my mind, of the Israelite context, you might say, of the Gospels and Acts. That is to say that we can't make good sense of who Jesus is according to the Gospels, or what it means to be his disciples, what it means to be church according to Acts, unless we are planted firmly within the history and the people of Israel. And so something that I'm going to emphasize again and again in this class is the need to read the Gospels and Acts within the story of Israel, to understand the God who is revealed to us in Jesus and by the Spirit of the church as the God of Israel. So you're going to get a big dose of that right at the beginning. As you'll see on the syllabus, right away we're going to be getting into some texts in Daniel, 1st Maccabees, which may be unfamiliar to some of you, and try to pick up the story, as it were, of Israel, so that we can begin to read Matthew within that story, well planted in that history. So I'm looking forward to working with you. I know many of you are spread around the world. I'll hopefully have a picture of each of you on Moodle so that I can at least put a face with the names and the posts that will be coming in. I have a picture up as well. You'll see on there that I'm married. My wife's name is Kim, and I have 3 children as well as an adopted child on the way. So hopefully you'll get a look at them on my Moodle ID. The syllabus should be up, and I'll have a forum set up as well for you to ask any questions that you have about the syllabus. You'll see that our class is going to consist largely of discussions that we will have together in response to readings, study questions that I put to you about the biblical texts. There will be some podcast lectures from me, and also a variety of written assignments for you to submit that we will discuss more as we get close to the time for them to be due. So I look forward to working with you, and more details will be forthcoming, but You should be able to follow on Moodle the first week's work to get started, and I'm looking forward to the class. I hope you are too. We will be in touch.